Welcome back to The Explainer, where we dig into big ideas. All right, today we are tackling a huge challenge in the business world, and that's how to create change that actually sticks. So let's kick things off with a problem that is, well, just frustratingly common. You've probably seen this firsthand, right? A company gets all inspired, maybe they read about the legendary Toyota production system, they try to copy all the tools, all the techniques, and then fast forward a year and poof, everything's right back where it started. So why does this happen? Like over and over again? Well, here's the thing. The answer is they're copying all the stuff they can see. The tools, the charts, the processes, but they are completely missing the invisible foundation holding it all up. They look at a powerhouse like Toyota. They try to just, copy-paste the success, but it never lasts. And that's because they haven't built the deep-rooted organizational culture you need to actually sustain it. That right there, that's the hidden dimension we're going to uncover today. So in this explainer, we're going to try and solve that mystery. We'll look at the copycat's dilemma, introduce a new dimension of Kaizen, see how we go from points to flow, connect the silos, and finally look at the total enterprise ecosystem. All right, let's jump right in and really frame this problem. Okay, so the most crucial point is right here. Borrowing a system without building the culture to support it, well, it's like building this gorgeous house on like a pile of sand. It might look amazing for a minute, but you know it's going to crumble. The real work isn't just about slapping in new processes. It's about creating a culture, a workforce that can actually support those changes and then build on them. So the big question is, how do you actually build that foundation? Well, that brings us to this really powerful framework that's designed to do just that. It's called three-dimensional Kaizen. You can think of it like a blueprint for real, lasting transformation. Now, Kaizen, you probably know this, is the Japanese term for continuous improvement. This model just takes that idea and makes it three-dimensional. It's a way to make sure that every single change initiative, from the person on the front line tweaking their own desk, all the way up to the C-suite planning global strategy, they're all in sync, all pulling in the exact same direction. And what's really cool is how it uses this super simple geometric idea to map everything out. We're going to start with just a single point and then build on that, layer by layer, until we've got a complete, solid, three-dimensional object. It's pretty elegant, actually. Okay, so let's get into the first couple of dimensions and see how this thing builds from the ground up. We're starting at the most fundamental level. So it all starts with a single point. This is what we call 0D, or point Kaizen. And look, it's called zero-dimensional, not because it doesn't matter, it's actually the foundation of everything. It's because, just like a point in geometry, its influence hasn't spread out yet. It begins and ends with one person, in their own workspace. This is where real, lasting change has to start, with the individual doing the work. Now, for a lot of companies, this is a radical idea. Point Kaizen means you empower every single person, doesn't matter if you're a welder, a coder, a person in customer service, to improve their own immediate work area. This makes change personal, it makes it rewarding, and it's super engaging because, for once, they have total ownership. Let me give you a great example of this in action. There was this luxury boat manufacturer, and a ton of the welding had to be done way down inside the massive hull of the boat. Now, instead of making the welders constantly climb in and out to get tools or check plans, they just empowered them. They said, hey, figure out how to bring everything you need down into the hole with you. And the result of that one simple welder-led change, get this, $180,000 in annual savings. Oh, and a 20% jump in the entire facility's throughput. That, right there, is the power of starting with a single point. And that leads us perfectly to the next step, 1D, or line Kaizen. See, once you have all these empowered individuals, these optimized points, the manager's job is now to connect the dots. You connect those points to create a smooth, efficient line. This is all about creating flow inside a single department, making sure my awesome improvement doesn't accidentally create a massive bottleneck for you. But let's be real, one super efficient department isn't enough, is it? We've all seen it, that one awesome team that's firing on all cylinders, but they're constantly getting held up by everyone else. The real magic, the big gains, happen when you connect the whole company. And that brings us to the second dimension, 2D plane Kaizen. This is where you finally start smashing those infamous company silos. We're talking about getting R&D to talk to sales, to talk to production, to talk to HR, getting everyone to stop obsessing over their own little kingdom and start focusing together on the one thing that actually matters, delivering awesome value to the customer. And you can see in this table exactly how responsibility scales up with each dimension. It's so clear, right? Frontline workers own their point. Department managers create the line within their team, and then they collaborate to build the plane across the whole business. And that, of course, leaves top leadership with the biggest, most important job of all.
Which brings us to the final dimension. This is where we go big. This is where true sustainable change breaks out beyond the four walls of your company and expands into the entire ecosystem.
This is 3D Kaizen. We've built our solid object. And at this level, top leadership's job totally shifts. Their main focus is now synchronizing this entire network. We're not just talking about the company anymore. We're talking about integrating global branches, working hand in hand with suppliers, and even pulling the end customer right into the process to create one seamless, powerful value chain. And this is a massive shift in thinking. I mean, look at this. The old way, headquarters sits on top and barks orders down to the production sites. But in the 3D Kaizen view, headquarters serves the production sites. They become an internal supplier. Their job is to get the front lines what they need to win. The whole pyramid just gets flipped on its head.
So after all this work, what's the ultimate goal? What's the end game? It's summed up perfectly by this quote. Gemba, if you haven't heard the term, is Japanese for the actual place, where the real work happens. The goal is to make your Gemba, your factory floor, your office, wherever, so unbelievably efficient and impressive that the place itself becomes your best salesperson.
Just imagine that. A potential client walks through your doors, and what do they see? They see an engaged workforce. They see seamless operations. They're not just looking at a product anymore. They're looking at a future partner. They get that instant confidence that your company is the one they can trust because they can literally see your culture of excellence in action. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this question to think about for your own organization. What dimension are you really operating in today? Are you still at the point level with just these little isolated islands of excellence? Or have you connected the line inside departments? Maybe you've even built the plane across the company. The journey to becoming a truly 3D organization is built one layer at a time, and it all starts by figuring out which dimension you need to tackle next.